Hello, hello. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025 parents. I'm sorry I was out for so long, but holidays. I trust you had an amazing Christmas as well as New Year. And welcome to 2025. Now the schools are opening and everybody's freaking out, right? How do I deal with the first day of school, and how do I deal with everything else that comes after the school are opening? Anxiety, the nerves, the crying. My tummy hurts. I don't want to go to school. I'm tired. Remember, they spend the whole month with you guys, so going to school is gonna be a big deal for them. Like, why do I have to do this? Especially the young ones, right? The babies. There's gonna be some crying and some tantrums. Now, how do you deal with that as a parent, right? I've got a few videos that will help, but also as a parent as well, I went through that. Now I've got older kids who manages themselves, but with the babies, the crying and the tantrums, you cannot, um, not deal with that at that particular moment, right? You're supposed to have been dealing with that, preparing this child for the month that you were at home, right? And before that, you cannot now be dealing with it now when the child's like, oh, I don't want to go to school, story, right? So now, if you haven't done that, right, it's gonna be a matter of, you know what? It's school. There's gonna be like my tummy hurts, I'm sick, wada, but try to understand where that anxiety is coming from, right? The attachment issue. So sit down with the little one, especially when they come back from school today. Sit down with them and talk to them. Ask them how was school and what was going on. If you're not around and they are fetched by transport or by auntie or by somebody, that person needs to make that child feel calm, because now you don't want the same thing happening tomorrow, right? Oh, I don't want to go to school, I'm crying and all that. But I've got some videos that will help. And going forward, you need to do routines with the kids. You don't want these kids that come home and throw things around. My bag is there, my socks are there. So teach them now while they're still young to do routines. So when we wake up in the morning, what do we do, right? We wake up in the morning. I do my bed. If it's a child that's a little older, right? I do my bed. I fetch my uniform. I take a bath. I also advise parents that if your children are smaller, right, give them a bath the previous night, right, so that in the morning there's no drama, right? In the morning you just do wiping, right? If they're little kids. If they're older kids, of course they'll have to bath at night and in the morning, but it's not like in the morning it's gonna be this hectic bathing, right? It will be something like, I'm in and out of the shower, right? And there's no drama. And if you teach your kids routines early on, they grow up with that. They grow up with, I know when I come back from school, what do I do? I know when before I sleep, what do I do? I know in the morning, what do I do? You don't want in the mornings like, we're about to go and where I don't know where my sock is, I don't know where my pen is, I don't know where everything is, right? And when you come back from school the previous day, everything needs to be in order. You put the books where they need to be. Do we need to do homework? I take a bath. So those routines needs to be in place while they are young, because when they're old, they already know what to do. But here are the videos that will help. And I hope you guys you had a fabulous holiday. It was really great, just detaching and just being at home. Yeah, the videos for the first day of school and the rest of the year type of thing.
As kids and parents start the new school year, it's good to be both mentally and emotionally prepared for all of it. Here are some tips to help parents get kids ready for the new school year. Katrina Newman with Wedgwood Christian Services. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's always an exciting time, a little nerve-wracking too. You've come up with a list of homework assignments for parents during this time of year.
Yes, we always want to start with health and safety. So we want to make sure we're making that doctor's appointment to get the eyes and ears checked, make sure we've gotten all of our shots, and to be able to jot down the height and weight of your child. We also want to practice our parking lot and our entrance and exit routines so that it goes smoothly that first week of school. So there might be some construction or something at your school this year. They might have changed the entry routine. You can call the front office and just ask them, and then you can practice with your child before you go to school.
Another thing involves checking in with your child about their feelings ahead of the school year. Why is this so important?
Well, it's really important to be proactive and make sure that you know if they're feeling anxious, if they're feeling nervous. We have a lot of resources that we can use. We can read books from the library about the first day of school. There's many really good ones. I recommend Kindergarten Here I Come, but there's also different grades that have first day of school books too, and that can help them just start the conversation about feeling anxious or nervous.
As the kids get older then, it kind of gets more difficult to get some responses from kids. I know a lot of times, how was school? Fine. How do we talk to our kids, our older ones, teenagers, about how they're doing?
Well, a lot of times what we like to do is ask a kid, what made you laugh today? Or you ask something like, did you have a high point or a low point today? And that kind of opens the conversation as well. You can also just say, hey, when's the last time you were disappointed? Or when's the last time you laughed so hard you cried? And that'll open up and help them to tell you that situation that happened at school without directly asking.
Oh yeah, okay, those are really good suggestions. Let's talk about establishing a routine for kids, really important, not just for bedtime, but other routines as well.
Right, so you're probably going to want to set up a homework station where they have pens and pencils, a whiteboard, a dry erase marker, anything they might need to do their homework so they know, okay, that's where I go and I sit and I finish my homework. You also want to have a folder for anything that's sent home from school, so you can just let your kids know from day one, we're going to put our notes in the folder, anything I need to read or to sign, this is where it goes, so we all know where it goes.
All right, good. Sounds like being organized is the key. Well, like we said, it's an exciting time of year. Really appreciate your ideas today.
Thank you so much.
So the start of the new school year can be both exciting and challenging for children and teens.
Yeah, students might, be stressed about going to a new school, classes, how to juggle a busy schedule. So joining us with some tips on how to manage mental stress as kids go back to the classroom, Dr. Gigi Chawla, of course, with General Pediatrics at Children's Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Okay,
Yes.
So yesterday we know most of Minnesota went back to school, and it's probably too early right now, but do you see more stress concerns, more mental health concerns with kids as they do start a new school year?
Yes, we definitely anticipate it. We start to see it even in August as
Really?
kids are starting to process going back to school, and their parents are too, and everybody's stressed about it, right? Like getting their physicals done. What are we signing up for?
Yeah.
What sports are we doing? Getting the timetables all right. Everybody's stressed. And so really that's what we start to see, and we get in September, we start to see how it wears on kids, managing that stress. And then some of those expectations that don't really line up, and you start to see, honestly, some sadness too.
And it can be overwhelming if you're maybe going to high school, you're transitioning from 8th to ninth grade, and am I going to have friends? Am I going to make friends? There are all kinds of worries. What are some of the signs and symptoms that parents should be on the lookout for? Hey, my child is struggling.
Yeah, with all of those new things, all of those transitions, you're really looking for any of the behaviors that just don't match up with what you really typically expect for your child. So that can be things like they're moodier, they're more angry actually because things are out of their control. Maybe their stomach is really upset, or they have headaches, they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, they're just really unsettled. So you're looking for some of those really subtle signs.
How can parents support their kids on that journey as they're starting to make that and trying to navigate those challenges? Are there tips and things that parents can do?
I think really honesty is the best policy there, describing how you remember what it was like, how, oh gosh, your stomach used to hurt too. And these are some of the things that you still do so that you can get up each day and face some of the challenges that you have at work, or the things that you did when you were trying to get through the school day yourself.
So how can families kind of manage this stress without causing more stress?
I think that is the biggest key, right? Like, families cause a lot of stress.
Let's just be real for a second. We do.
Yes, just by trying to over control things, over engineer things, and some kids, create their own schedules and their own things that they're going to try to do, and that causes stress too. And I think just taking time for everybody to relax a little bit, that helps. And then thinking about setting your expectations to be smaller, not this big project that you're going to do. No, what are we going to do today?
Yeah.
How are we going to manage the day? How are we going to manage the next few days? What are we going to look forward to on the weekend to help balance everything out?
I think it's something you said before when we were talking before about something similar, but kids, they see your parents' faces. So if they see you're stressed, they're going to react to that. So I guess the calmer that you can be, that's the better off than your kid is going to be as well.
That's absolutely it, right? Channel your inner calmness in order to manage your own child stress. Yeah.
Dr. Gigi, as always, thanks. We appreciate it.
Good luck out there.
Okay, so the most important is the mental health of a child, right? Because the more stable the child is and becoming calm, the more easier things get, believe me, because you don't want to be sending a child that's screaming to school every day, So make time, sit down, ask your child how are they feeling. Ask them about their feelings, They're gonna say some random things, but make time to just understand where they at. First day is really, really, really scary. I mean, it's like as parents, when you go for a job interview or the first day at your work, it's scary. You don't know anybody. You're just there with strangers. But make your child comfortable and have this conversation with them. But yeah, thank you for sharing. I'm back, so we will be doing these again. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let's educate our children. Much love and light. Bye-bye.